Welcome to the Hometown Bluegrass Show weekly podcast presented by Allen Music Shop. Co-hosts Tim Batts and 20-time Bluegrass Guitar Player of the Year Josh Williams will talk about the latest bluegrass news, interview folks in the industry, and give you lighthearted stories and music tips along the way. Now, here's Tim and Josh.
Hey, here's Tim and Josh.
Hey, here we are.
Here we are.
Where are we?
We are in Allen Music Shop, downtown Paducah, Kentucky.
That's right.
And we are flustered. We got new toys.
You got new toys.
I got new toys. New podcasting equipment that I don't know how to work, but hey, we're figuring it out as we go. It's got lots of cool buttons and lots of colorful lights, and my ADHD, it really messes with my ADHD. Yeah. It's like, oh, pretty lights.
Now you know I have this baffle between us.
Exactly, so you can't see me.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to the Hometown Bluegrass Show podcast. I am Tim Batts along with...
Me, Josh Williams.
Josh Williams, and we are right here in Allen Music, downtown Paducah, Kentucky, and we're sitting here amongst all these fine instruments and great music equipment. So if you get a chance to come by and check out what they've got, then you need to do that, or you can check them out at allenmusicshop.com. And you can find all the good deals right there. So, but anyway, yeah, we've got new stuff.
Did you buy your new equipment at Allen Music?
Of course, man. I mean, it's the only place to get stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
did you?
You got to buy stuff from them, man, to keep things going.
That's right.
So.
A lot of people don't realize it. You can't. It's not just guitars or mandolins or amplifiers. It's all kinds of stuff, man.
I know it. They've got it all. I mean, they've been in business so long that, I mean, they sell a lot of different things. So a lot of people think it's just a guitar shop, but it's really not.
Honestly, if it's not at Allen's, chances are you don't need it.
Exactly. If they ain't got it, you don't need it. That should be their new tagline.
It should be.
Yep. So how you been? You had a good week?
I've had a week, yes. I've had a pretty good week.
Well, that's good. So, you went and played the Grand Ole Opry last weekend, I think, didn't you?
I did. I got to go play with my former bandmates and boss, Rhonda Vincent, and The Rage.
How'd that go?
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
A lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
And I'm getting to do it again this weekend.
Well, who are you playing with this weekend?
Rhonda Vincent and The Rage.
Well, seems to be a pattern here.
Yeah.
Well, so
I'm okay with it.
I don't blame you. Anytime you get to play the Grand Ole Opry, I mean,
Absolutely.
That's a lot of fun. So how many times do you think you played the Opry?
Ooh, I have no idea.
I mean, you think like 50, 100, 200?
I would probably say, I don't know, man. With Rhonda, I'd say probably close to 100.
Oh, wow.
I would think. I wouldn't think it would be more than that, but I could be wrong.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what's it like when you go to the Grand Ole Opry? I mean, do you get, as an artist, do you get special parking right there at the...
Yeah.
So you get your own parking lot. I think I have seen the signs there.
Yeah. The artists
parking. Yeah,
artists get their own parking.
So your own parking, your own entrance.
The band members of the artists, we have to park in the back 40, but that's not true actually. Most of the time, we're able to park in a pretty decent spot and not have to walk too far.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So when you get there as an artist entrance, so you go in with the band and artist entrance or whatever. So.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
And then, they've got all kinds of stuff backstage. Of course, all the dressing rooms and stuff. And most of the time, people will keep their doors open. Every once in a while, somebody will shut them just for rehearsal sake, or depending on who it is, you might have to keep them shut just to a point, to keep order back there. But
right. I mean, is it wild and crazy? Like, is there people just running everywhere up and down the halls in the backstage, or what?
I wouldn't say running.
Well, that was a figure of speech.
There's a lot of people, and it depends on who's there. On the nights like not this last time that I was there, but the time before, Reba was there, and that was a crazy night.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And then I was there before that. I was there with the Graskels, and Garth was there. And surprisingly enough, it was pretty laid back. Of course, I had no idea he was going to be as cool as he was. Like, he was just laid back. He came and found us to talk to us.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was awesome.
That is cool. I saw you show me the picture of you and him, and That is pretty neat. So
he said that his dad, basically he was raised on Bluegrass, that his dad's favorite band was the Seldom Seen.
Really?
Yep. I thought that was cool.
Well, that is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So I know you probably don't get starstruck, but I mean, I would think you would have to be pretty close with Garth Brooks. Am I right or no? No.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah. You wouldn't quite fangirl on it or...
No. But it was cool. I mean, gosh, I started listening to his music at a young age. You know, I mean, he came out in the early 90s, I guess. And,
right.
And that was around about the time that I started showing interest in music. So I was listening to all kinds of different stuff and had already started to play a little bit, you know. And
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was... And when I was in high school, we went and saw one of his shows, and holy crap. Probably the best show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
To this day.
I saw him at SIU Arena in Carbondale, Illinois when I was in high school. No, I was right after high school, I think, but because I am older than you, but...
Not as much as I thought.
Oh, thanks, I think. But, yeah, it was a pretty incredible show, that's for sure. So, but, well, that's cool. I always wonder what it's like behind the Grand Ole Opry stage, and you know what the feeling is like, and I'm sure there's probably a different feeling for everybody. That people who've been there hundreds of times, like you, and people who are there for the first time, and so that's pretty cool. I also, we had Cutter and Cash Singleton on our show, on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, and they just announced they just got invited to play at the Grand Ole Opry in a couple of weeks. So
Yep.
So
In fact, they were there Saturday night. They were there with Jeannie.
Oh, really? Just hanging out backstage?
Yep, hanging out. They came over to the dressing room and said, hey.
Well, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. So, well, any other great news? You're a Southern Legacy band gearing up to get ready to play some dates this summer?
Yeah. We completed our first weekend, not this past weekend, but last, so... had a great time, had a great turnout, had a really well received, well, let me try to rephrase that in like some English, but we were very well received, is what I mean to say.
Well, cool.
And that meant the most to me.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've been out and haven't been able to see a lot of those people in a long time. And, about 3 years, honestly. It's already been 3 years.
That's hard to believe.
I know it. And even 3 years is too long.
Yeah.
So that was really good to see those folks again.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Well, I know you're excited to be back on the road again and out touring and singing and seeing everybody. So it's got to be cool. And your band is just a great bunch of guys and just, almost an all-star lineup of singers and musicians. So you guys are going to be a hit, I'm sure, wherever you go. So,
I hope so. And even if not, I just hope we're able to make our mark somehow or another, and I hope it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. So, in the Bluegrass Today news, anything going on that you see that's exciting?
Do not drink the water at the Bluegrass festivals because everybody's having babies, and I assume it's from the water, right?
Oh, well, it must be. Yeah, those little pumping water stations beside the Kitmos, maybe.
Yeah, don't drink that. First off, don't drink that anyway.
Oh, wait, that's a hand washing station.
Yeah.
I always wonder why it tasted so funny at the festival.
Stephen Burwell, the fiddle player he was with Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, the last form of that, and now he's with Authentic Unlimited, and he and his wife just had their first child.
Cool.
Which I think is awesome.
Absolutely. Speaking of Doyle, he's going to be our guest here after a while. We're going to get Doyle on the phone and talk to him, so we're excited about that for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And let's see. There was some other ones, too. James Fowlkes was born. And do you remember the Church Sisters?
From Saturday Night Live?
No. That's the church lady.
Oh, the church lady.
No. The Church Sisters are from over in Virginia, and they're twins, but they sing.
Oh, I have heard of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Savannah and Sarah are their names, and which they're both now married. And Savannah has had, I know they have one, they may even have two now, I'm not sure, but I know that Sarah just had her first child, so congratulations to them.
Oh,
That's a really big deal.
That is
and
cool.
of course, Rhonda Vincent has become a grandmother again.
Wow.
For the third time.
Wow.
Yeah. So Brent and Tinsel, they have 2 kids. And now Sally has had her first child with her husband. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So congratulations out there to Rhonda for being another grandmother. For
right.
being a grandmother again, I guess.
Yeah. One thing I thought was cool was I used to watch American Idol a lot years ago. I don't watch it as much anymore, but the year that Carrie Underwood won, which was like season 4, I think, the guy that won runner-up behind Carrie Underwood, Bo Bice. Yeah, real raspy voice, Bob Seger influence guy. But anyway, he just come out with a bluegrass album. And it's got some Bob Seger remakes on it and all that. So I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Bob Seger's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think he redid a lot of Bob Seger songs in bluegrass styles, so that should be interesting to check that out.
You know, one of my favorite songs of all times is Against the Wind.
Oh,
and
yeah?
that's one of Bob's songs, but the Highwaymen cut it. That's where I learned it from the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, you can find all this news and more on bluegrasstoday.com. That's where Josh and I keep up with all the latest news, and they've got all the chart-topping songs and different festivals and events that you can find on there, so go support them.
Yeah, that's right.
Bluegrass Today for sure. So.
And say a little prayer for Maddie Dalton, too. She's the bass player for Sister Sadie.
Yeah.
She took a spill at Spigma, apparently.
Yeah, we mentioned that on our podcast.
And, yeah, it must have been really bad.
Wow. So she's
we're
out.
just going to give her another shout-out and another quick mention just for prayers and stuff for a quick healing, because I know they've got a lot of touring to do this year.
No doubt. They're a busy bunch of girls, that's for sure.
You know, I had taken a fall back. It's been 3 or 4. No, it's been longer than that because I fell out of the bus. So Sally was still in the. Let's see, it would have been probably 2017 or 18, maybe 19. Anyway, I fell out of the bus, out of the front door from the top step, and I landed on my right knee. And the year that we were actually in New York City, it was the 60th anniversary, I guess, of the Grammys. And it was 2018 because that's the year that we won. We could have went from where we were playing. We did the Grand Ole Opry opening in Times Square, and then we went from there. Basically, we went back home. But I had to do the whole thing in Times Square in New York City on crutches. So I can understand what the pain that can be. Not only actual physical pain, but the pain in the rear end it can be too.
No doubt.
So
how in the world do you play guitar with crutches?
Well,
very carefully, I guess.
They put a bar stool up on the stage for me, and I literally sat there on the bar stool with my right leg kicked out straight because I couldn't do anything with it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it wasn't hilarious at the time.
Well, I bet.
We did have another person in the business pass away, though. I wanted to mention.
Who's that?
Her name was Ronnie Stoneman of the infamous Stoneman family.
Oh, okay.
So Ronnie was a banjo player, which is how I got to know who she was. She was on Hee Haw for many years. She was. I don't really know how to say what she was. She was the wife of. Not Archie, I can't think of the guy's name. But anyway, one of the main characters there in that show. But she always played his wife, and their skit would always end the same way. She'd be beating the tar out of him with something, But she was an amazing banjo player in her day. Huh. And I got to meet her when I was very young, and she was super nice. And, yeah, so I just, I hate that, I hate to hear about that. But
yeah. That's for sure. What what a great legacy and the amazing show that so many of us grew up watching, and so many great talents on that cast of characters that were on there.
Oh yeah, and as far as the Stoneman family goes, I think Donna might be the only one that's left now.
Wow, it's crazy. Well, we really appreciate you joining in with us on the Hometown Bluegrass Show podcast, and we have a great time bringing this to you. Like I said, we've got some great things coming up. Josh is going to give us a guitar picking lesson. He might give you a guitar pick too.
I'm not giving you any of my guitar picks, man.
But I actually have a guitar pick that says Josh Williams Band on it. No,
yeah. No, it probably says Josh Williams in high gear.
There you go. That's what it was.
That's many years ago.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up with that thing, but yeah, that's an old pick.
Is it one of the real big thick ones? Mm-hmm. Throw that away. That's junk.
Well, I really liked it. But
for some reason, that's why at the time that's the kind of pick I was using. So just to let you know how toneless I was back then.
How times have changed.
Yes. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, this is the Hometown Bluegrass Show, and we do like to hear about your hometown and where you're from, and maybe what musical influences have come from your hometown, and so we like to showcase different hometowns in each episode. So if you've got a hometown story that you'd like to tell us about, look us up on Facebook. And I know it's kind of funny because in bluegrass music, so many songs are written about hometowns. And that's one of the reasons why I came up with this name for the show. But I guess one hometown that comes to mind would be Galax, Virginia. Lots of cool songs have come. Of course, Pretty Little Girl from Galax, Russell Moore and Third Time Out.
Did that song actually come from Galax, or did somebody that was not from Galax write that song?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'd like to.
We'll get Russell on here one of these days, and we'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him about that. But
have you ever been to Galax?
I have not.
The National Fiddlers Convention is over there.
Oh, is it really?
Oh,
in
my
Galax,
gosh.
Virginia?
There's more fiddles than you could possibly ever want to hear.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, looks like a beautiful town, just looking it up online. And,
it is. It's a very pretty town.
It's a beautiful part of the country for sure, in Virginia, West Virginia area. And, of course, at the eastern end of Kentucky, where we're at the far western end of Kentucky. And so all you got to do is travel the full length of Kentucky, and you can be over in Virginia and check it out.
Hey, Kentucky is longer than you think it is.
It really is. I have driven from one end to the other, and it is. It's a long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a beautiful state and a beautiful drive, that's for sure. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some great guitar picking, and stay tuned to see what Josh has in store for us. And we'll be right back right after this message. Historic downtown Paducah, Kentucky is your source for fine guitars and all types of acoustic instruments. At Allen Music, we are experienced and enthusiastic players of everything we offer. Allen Music is family owned and has been serving musicians since 1976. So stop by and thank them for supporting bluegrass music. Allen Music, 215 Kentucky Avenue, downtown Paducah, or check them out online at allenmusicshop.com.
Custom Automotive in Calvert City, Kentucky has been a family-operated business for over 50 years. When you call Custom Automotive, you'll talk to an experienced tire and wheel expert. They install wheels and tires on thousands of vehicles every year in addition to their online sales. Stop by and thank them for supporting bluegrass music. Custom Automotive, Highway 62, Calvert City, Kentucky, 270-395-7611. Or visit them online at customautoonline.com.
The Lake House Inn at Sled Creek has undergone complete renovation in 2023. Our outdoor space is unlike any other at Kentucky Lake. With 2 in-ground pools, 18 rooms, and 4 cabins, we're just a stone's throw away from Kentucky Dam. If you're looking to make memories with your family, this nostalgic inn is for you. Welcome to your lake house, where modern meets rustic and becomes home. Reserve online at lakehouseinn.com. Well, welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. We do thank our great sponsors for helping us keep great bluegrass music alive and well right here in the good state of Kentucky. And we love being able to record right here at Allen Music Shop. We, for those of you who don't know, we do record the podcast right here in the music store. So we're surrounded by instruments and all the good stuff here. So come by and check them out. Josh actually teaches guitar lessons down here about 3 nights a week. So if you've got an interest in being a better guitar player or want to learn specific things about bluegrass guitar or anything along those lines, just call Allen Music, and they will be glad to get you on the schedule.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and, I can teach banjo and mandolin as well.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I've had a few people ask for fiddle lessons, and I'm just not ready yet. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to teach any bad habits that I might have.
I understand.
But, yeah, if anybody's interested in taking some lessons, just give us a call down here at the music store or look us up online, allenmusic.com.
That's right, allenmusicshop.com. Hey, I want to say real quick before Josh plays, I want to give a shout out to Joe Mullins, Daniel Mullins, and all the great folks who put on the Industrial Strength Bluegrass Festival, which is coming up March the 21st through the 23rd in Wilmington, Ohio. They've got a great lineup. This festival was the 2022 IBMA event of the year. So if you're in the Wilmington, Ohio area or close by, go check it out. They've got an enormous lineup of great bands and pickers and people that's going to be at this festival. I'm going to go as a spectator and looking forward to a great weekend to get away with the wife.
What kind of tater are you going as?
A speckled tater.
Speckled tater.
Yeah. But lots of great bands from Lorraine Jordan and Jerry Salley and Donnie Ulysses and Daleen Vincent and Joe Mullins and Authentic Unlimited and many, many more. So go check out the Industrial Strength Bluegrass Festival. So Josh has grabbed his guitar and he's going to fill us with his aficionado wisdom. So what are you going to teach the fine folks today, Josh?
I think I'm going to do Little Sadie.
Little Sadie, all right.
And the reason I'm choosing this one is because there's, among the Tony Rice aficionados, this kickoff that he plays is always one that kind of has baffled some folks, simply because there's a slide backwards and back up. It's weird to explain, but I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is his famous song that was on the Manzanita album, and so E minor, played out of D minor shape, but on the second fret, capo on the second fret. So his kickoff would start like this. So it starts on an open G string, which would, A, but you'd be on your open third string. So up 2 frets there. And it goes to the D chord. And then he plays an A minor, or a B minor in this case. And then the part that baffles people most of the time is so that little move there. So that's the one that blows people's minds because it's actually a slide backwards when it sounds like it's going up. So So, in context, went out last night for to make a little round. I met a little Sadie and I shot her down. Went back home, I got into bed, a 44 pistol under my head. I woke up the next morning about 9:30. The hacks and the buggies all standing in line. Gents and gamblers standing around, carrying a little Sadie to her burying ground. Well, I began to think of what a deed I'd done. I grabbed my hat and away I run. Made a run, but run too slow. They overtook me in Jericho. I was standing on the corner reading the bill when up come the sheriff from Thomasville. Said, young man, your name ain't Brown. Remember the night you shot Sadie down? Yeah, I said, miss sir, but my name is Lee, and I shot a little Sadie in the first degree. First degree and the second degree. If you got any papers, won't you read them to me? They took me downtown, dressed me in black, and they put me on a train and started me back. All the way back to that Thomasville jail, and I had no money for to go my bail. Well, the judge and the jury, they took their stand. The judge held the papers in his right hand. 41 days, 41 nights, 41 years to wear the ball and strike.
Well,
Ooh, mournful.
that was awesome, man.
Mournful.
Well,
Yeah, that's a really cool song. The first time I heard that was actually on one of Doc Watson's albums, but then of course, Manzanita. I got a hold of that and just blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tony had a way of doing that.
man, he did. He really did. But he was just like we were talking earlier about being starstruck and stuff like that. There were two people in this genre of music that when I was around them, I was starstruck big time, and Tony was one of them. Another one was Terry Balcom, and then on the female side of things, Emmylou Harris. I couldn't say a word in front of her.
Really?
I could not do it.
Oh, boy, she's an icon, isn't she, man?
Yes.
Some of the songs she's recorded.
Yeah. I've been around Dolly Parton with not a problem. I mean, she's just as big a star, if not bigger, in a lot of senses. Well, in a lot of senses, especially a couple. But, there's that old joke about, people having big stars playing a show, Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton. Now, there's a couple of big ones.
Try out my new sensor tool
Oh,
on you there.
my goodness. You're going to need that a lot with me. Just ask anybody. But, being around her, around Emmylou, I could not speak yet a word. So,
Wow.
just couldn't do it.
That's pretty cool.
But, obviously, when I went to work with Tony, we saw her quite a bit, so it got to be kind of a normal thing. And one of the shows I had my my son at with me. He was the only one born at the time, and she held him. So I've got pictures of him being held by Tom T. Hall and Emmylou Harris, and
wow,
yeah, she was. We walked in backstage, and she said, "Give me that baby."
That's cool.
And we did. So yeah, she's a very sweet lady.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great rendition of that amazing song. I love a good song, and especially in the minor key, it's just haunting.
Minors are fun, man.
They
like
are.
Most people, I mean, of course, bluegrass is based on, G major, I guess, or whatever. But you get in those minor keys, man, they're a lot of fun to play in.
Well, I think it catches you off guard when you're used to listening to so many songs in G major or those type of, a lot of songs are played in just B or whatever. And so all of a sudden you throw a minor song in there, and I don't know, it just kind of makes you stop and go, ooh.
Yeah, well, it makes you feel like that almost isn't right, you know, so it turns your head a little bit whenever you're listening to it.
Exactly.
But I love it.
I saw a funny cartoon one time. It was a picture of an old saloon, and the bad guy was walking in the swinging doors, and some guy says to the piano player, "Okay, change to a minor song." Like the drama's about to start.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
we should use your little censor thing for songs that don't need it, and we can just use like unnecessary censorship in certain places just to make it funny. Yeah,
there you go. Exactly. Just start censoring out songs.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Well, great job on that song. I took a short video of that, so you can check that out if you're listening to this on our Facebook page, the Hometown Bluegrass Show. Go check it out, and you can see a short clip of that and kind of give you a better idea of the finger placement on the fretboard that Josh was doing, and you'll get a better look at that. And plus, we want to hear from you, so go to our Facebook page. We want to hear what you think about the show. If you got any questions or comments that you want to ask Josh, or let us know topics you want us to talk about, artists or you want us to interview, please, we want to hear from you. So go to our Facebook page and check us out. So, all right, Josh, play us out. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to try to talk to the man himself, Mr. Doyle Lawson.
Yeah.
So don't y'all go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For over 50 years, Puckett's Jewelry in Benton, Kentucky has been a trusted choice for fine jewelry that will last a lifetime and help you celebrate life's most precious moments. The new owners, Bart and Hannah Lewis, are excited to continue the Puckett's Jewelry legacy in Marshall County and are proud to support bluegrass music. Puckett's Jewelry on the Square in Benton, Kentucky. Visit them online at puckettsjewelry.com.
Bats Creative Audio is not just a DJ service. We can provide audio for your event, either with live sound, live band, or singers. We do weddings, parties, reunions, festivals, and most any event that needs fun, entertaining music. We are prompt, professional, and have many years of experience in the wedding business. So whether it's your special day or you just want to make your party more fun, give Tim Batts a call at 270-217-2119. The Duck Blind, located in Barlow, Kentucky, is your neighborhood restaurant, bar, and grill. Stop by and try their burgers, the shotgun fixins, the greenhead taco salad, or the pintail pizza. They also are a full-service spirit store with a drive-thru. It's a great family atmosphere with live music on the back patio. The Duck Blind Bar and Grill in Barlow, Kentucky. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. I am Tim Batts alongside with Mr.
Josh Williams.
And we
Glad
are
to be here.
having a good time on the podcast tonight, and we are so lucky and excited to have a bluegrass legend with us tonight on the phone, Mr. Doyle Lawson. How you doing, Mr. Lawson?
Well, I'm better than I deserve, but I'll take it. You guys all right?
We're doing great, man.
Doing great, sir. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us and talk to the great folks about bluegrass. We miss you. We miss seeing you out.
Well, I miss the people. I really do. I like, entertaining people and putting smiles on their faces and doing something hopefully that they enjoyed. But I miss that part. But all the other ground, I got to tell you, I really don't miss that part. I had enough of that.
You don't miss being up and down the road all the time and all the late nights and the horrible meals that we end up having to eat sometimes?
The traveling never really bothered me. But I've always said, buses, they're a necessary evil.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're great when they're good, and they are the worst when they break. They break bad, and they break big most of the time.
Expensive breaks.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't go. It's not a couple of $100 or whatever. Usually, there's no easy fix. It's always something more major. But anyway, I had a blessed career. And for me, it was time for me to step away, and for a number of reasons. One, I wanted to step away when I was still doing it like I wanted to, like I could do it, and was pleased with what I'd done. And I told the last group I had, the makeup of the band, that I wasn't going to stay till I was getting applause out of pity and not appreciation. And if you stay too long, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, we totally respect your decision, but we do miss you.
Well, I had a good run. I miss it in that respect, but I'm pretty at peace with it. And I look back over the last couple of years, and I was so glad that I did, because my wife just went through a battle with cancer, and I was able to be here with her the whole time, not having to worry about what to do about the band and concert dates and all that. And I just think that's God's way of looking at the future that we don't have a clue about. So, in all respects, I think that was part of the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's great, man. And do tell Suzanne that we'll be sending prayers and praise to the Lord, I guess, in her favor as well. So it sounds like, was she able to come out on the other end, or is it still a process?
They've declared her cancer free, and of course,
all right.
She's been dealing with a little bursitis or maybe a torn muscle in one of her hips. And that, of course, I got a bionic woman. She's had both shoulders, both hips, and one knee replaced.
Wow.
I said, I'm sure glad they don't make it all out of metal anymore. I'd never get you through an airport.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's just part of life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what a great career you've had, Doyle. I mean, from the early 60s when you took off to Nashville and teamed up with Jimmy Martin and them boys. I mean, it's been quite a ride, hasn't it?
It really has. And I look back sometimes, I just kind of marvel at the things that came my way. I never had any thought about ever one day being a band leader. All I wanted to do was be on stage with a band. And as a young kid, I kind of had my hopes set, either hooking on with Mr. Bill Monroe or Jimmy. And as it turned out, I met Jimmy when I was 14, and that, of course, that's a matter of public record, I think. But anyway, and I loved the things that he was recording then, the band he had at that time with J.D. Crowe and Paul Williams. That to my ears, it was just as good as anything that ever come down the pike. And I love J.D.'s bench picking, and little did I know that I would one day be playing. I started playing guitar with Crowe, but I wound up playing mandolin. And but anyway. I actually played played banjo in his absence for 3 or 4 dates. When we was at the Holiday Inn, I forgot he had some little surgical procedure, or maybe a cyst taken off his cheek or something like that, and he didn't want to show up all bandaged up, and so I played the banjo. We did a little trio.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Now, what year did you go to work with Crow?
66.
66. And was that your first professional band?
No. Jimmy was.
You was playing with Jimmy first, okay. And then went to work. Okay.
I went to Nashville and hired him on the 3rd day of February, and scared to death. 18
Oh,
years
yeah.
old. I hadn't been away from that far from home, and I got there in the wee hours of the morning. I called out to his house, and Barbara said, "Well, he knows you're coming in. When he calls in, I'll tell him, and he'll come get you." Well, I'm sitting 2 hours or so in the bus station, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't have bus fare to get back.
Oh, wow.
Home. So anyway, all I had my little RB 100, a little knapsack, and the clothes on my back, and
Wow.
maybe money enough for a couple of meals, and that was about it.
Man, that's awesome.
What a neat story.
So I assume you were living in Nashville for the time that you were playing, or the Nashville area when you were with Jimmy?
I actually lived in the house with Jimmy.
Oh, well, there you go.
I said, Jimmy, why don't we find a banjo player and put me on the mandolin, and put Vernon Derrick back on the fiddle, and we'll have a good 5-piece,
Mm-hmm.
well, glory. But anyway, and so I ran into Alan Mundy, and now Alan and I probably have a little different recollection, but the way I recall it, I knew Alan from, he was picking some with Sam Bush,
Mm-hmm.
and another guy, I think his name was Wayne Stewart, I believe it was. But anyway, I happened to run into Alan and asked him what he's doing. He was in Nashville. He said, I was just kind of kicking around, asked him if he wanted a job. Anyway, I told Jimmy about him, and Jimmy had heard him play. And he said, I said, but he can. I guarantee he can play it. And if you'll hire him, I'll work with him. You won't have to even rehearse with him. Well, I had an ace in the hole, because I knew just kind of point Alan in that direction, and you didn't have to teach him anything.
Mm-hmm.
Alan is actually one of my favorite banjo players. He's a great.
He is. He's awesome.
And but anyway, as it turned out, Chris left, and Alan came in, played banjo, and I played mandolin. And I never recorded on banjo with Jimmy. However, there's a clip, a short silent clip on a documentary they did on the Louisiana Hayride,
Mm-hmm.
and Jimmy, and it's real grainy, hard, but I bought that video because I got to work the hayride one time with Jimmy in its later days, when it was just on its last leg, to be honest. I think they were only having it every third Saturday, or I don't remember exactly, but we went through there. We've been, and but there's a clip on that documentary, and that little old banjo player that you hold the banjo almost under his chin was me.
Now, I have seen a picture of you when you were playing with him, and you did have your banjo really high.
Well, yeah, I did that because we only had one microphone.
Yeah, so that's why you did it, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be dang.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing anyway.
I know better than that.
I took that job, and this is a true story. I took that job, and I didn't know anything, any technical aspects of the banjo. I learned to play banjo by listening to the radio or a record or whatever. And I just pretty much imitated or copied what I was hearing. And I didn't know why, other than that's what they were doing. So we're rehearsing early in the next week after I hired in. And there was a guy named Billy Edwards who was playing banjo when I got there. And Billy was going back to High Point, North Carolina. So Jimmy hired me. Well, Billy had some time to kill, so he was hanging around, and we were rehearsing. And I was really struggling. I really struggled when it comes to anything 3/4 time with a banjo roll. So Jimmy, he stopped. He said, "Let me see your forward roll." I said, "What is a forward roll?" He said, I said, I'm playing what I hear on the records and trying my best to do what that is. I said, I really don't know. And he said, Billy, show him that roll. And of course, Billy was part of the later Red Smiley, and then later on the Shenandoah cut-ups. He was a good little banjo picker. And but anyway, he said, he said, ain't nothing to it. Well, he showed the roll pattern, and then it all started to make sense to me. I realized, okay, that's the key. That unlocks the door to anything else that you want to do, and that's how I got started. And I was amazed at how quickly I progressed after that.
That's awesome.
But anyway, enough of the banjo stuff.
So at what point did you go to playing the mandolin, pretty much just the mandolin?
Well, I was working, when I went to work with JD, I actually took that job. JD was working in Lexington at a little club called Martin's Tavern. And I looked at, he kept sending word. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky at that time. And he kept sending word by a mutual friend of ours. He'd never met me. I didn't know. And nobody knew who I was. And rightly so. But anyway, I finally decided to go down and look him up, and I did. And we just really became fast friends right then. And I sat in and played guitar that night. Well, on to that till he called and said his guitar player was laid up with hepatitis and going to be off work for a while. Would I fill in? Well, ironically, I just had taken a full-time position with a fiddle player over in Indiana that we didn't do anything other than local, regional square dances and things like that. But he had pretty much that area sewed up, so it was more picking than I was getting to do otherwise, other than teach. So anyway, I started playing guitar with Crow, and it goes on, and Eddie, the guitar player, comes back, and so I'm still there. So finally, I said, Crow, he's back. You want me to move on? Well, what happened was he had a little bass player that we called him Lightning. I don't know what his name was. Everybody called him Lightning. The reason we called him Lightning was he could literally go to sleep playing the bass. And Crow would yell at him, and he'd jump.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so I got to the club early one night, and Lightning comes over and says, so we got too many people in this band. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, there's JD, and there's Eddie, and there's Bobby Sloan playing. He was playing fiddle then, and Gordon Scott, and me. And he said, and then there's you. I said, well, okay. So we finished up that night. I said, Crow, you want me to move on? I said, Ed is back. He said, what? I said, well, you want me to move on? Am I in the band or what? Now, this is how J.D. Crowe hired me. He said, well, I thought you knew. That was it. So I was actually a part-time musician with Crowe for about almost a little over 5 years.
That's funny.
Anyway, so back to that. I was playing guitar, and Gordon Scott was going to the University of Kentucky, and he had an incredible falsetto tenor, but he had never played a whole lot of mandolin. But he was a heck of a blues harp. Boy, he could play a blues on the harp and chill you. But he played. He could do a little turnaround. He played good rhythm. And one night we were back in the back rehearsing, running through a song, and he was kind of struggling with the little mandolin thing. And I said, Gordon, let me have that thing. I may be able to help you out. And he looked at me, and he looked at JD, and they looked at each other, and I took the mandolin to play that. I said, see what that does. Crowe said, you didn't tell me you could play mandolin. I said, well, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
So Gordon said, hold on, whoa, wait, pal, hold on, wait. We got this all wrong. You give me that guitar. So from then on, I played mandolin, he played guitar. So
my goodness.
And that's how it started.
That's how I got back in. Yeah, so I started trying to play the mandolin when I was 11 years old. And so I learned to play banjo so I could get a job somewhere because, I wanted to go to Nashville. I looked at my options and they wasn't too great. Jimmy had Paul Williams. Of course, Monroe was a mandolin player.
Mm-hmm.
And you go down and look at your personnel. And Lester Earl pretty much didn't carry one by then. So I said, well, if I learn to play banjo, I could probably maybe get a job quicker. Plus, I love Crow's picking, so that's why I became a banjo player of sorts.
That's cool. So when, because I know that this probably was later on, obviously, when Larry Rice came into the band, you went back to guitar?
Yeah.
Or was that when you left to go back with Jimmy?
I was back with Jimmy, and
Okay.
Larry came in to fill my spot.
Gotcha.
And, we had a guy named Bob Morris, a guitar, before Red Allen, and then when Bobby left, Crowe brought Red Allen in, and we did that Bluegrass Holiday.
Yeah.
That was recorded just to sell at the lounge. We had no idea that thing would get out. Well, Dave Freeman had county record sales in New York at that time, a mail order, and he got a hold of those albums, and then people got to want to see us. And of course, we couldn't go much because we were working 5 nights a week at Holiday Inn. But anyway, I left to go back to Jimmy. Red had already left. Bobby Morris came back. I went to Jimmy. Larry came in. Then Bobby up, and Bobby Morris quits again, and Crowe called me. He said, man, why don't you just come on back home? You come on back up here. So to be honest with you, I really did. I was ready to go back because I really missed. I love Jimmy and his music, but I really missed kicking with Crowe and those guys.
Yeah.
Crowe was like a brother. I mean, in the early days, we all worked day jobs and played music at night. You had to. And so I was living in Louisville when I hired him with Crowe. And so I was driving at least 3 nights a week. I was doing a 200-mile round trip, working 5.5 days in the machine shop, and 3 nights a week at least, sometimes 4 in Lexington. And I told JD, I said, man, I'm only 22 years old, but this grind is getting me down. I can't hold up. And so sometimes, of course, part is my fault or our fault. We'd play from 9 to 1 for the people, and when they'd all leave, sometimes we go in the back and play another couple of hours for us.
Yep.
And then I'd have to go 2 hours home and grab just enough sleep to get up and get ready to go to work. And so it got to be pretty rough. So Crow was working as a shipping clerk at this place, and he got me on with him as his assistant in the shipping department.
Nice.
And he, the Wilson brothers, Tilford Wilson was the guy that there were two brothers, but you never saw them, but one of them. So Crow said, "Now look," he said, "I don't tell him you play music. He knows I do, and he's okay with it. But he's just don't say anything about it." So anyway, he hired me, and so basically, though, Crow was my boss day and night there for a good while, And, but we'd break for lunch, and we're young guys, I'm telling you. And so there was a place over on Broad Street, and we go for lunch, and they had the best tenderloin steak sandwiches, and unfortunately, it just went down perfect with a good cold beer. So we would do that. Well, we got where the summertime that one just didn't quite quench our thirst.
Of course,
we'd take one or two back and put it under the counter. Well, that went pretty good for a while, and then we looked up one day and there was Mr. Wilson.
Oh no!
Now Crow could get away with anything. Well, back in those days, JD had red hair, real dark red, and a lot of it. So anyway, and Mr. Wilson always called him Red. He listened. "You having a cold? Are you, Red?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, Tilbert, it's hot back here." And he never said another word. Then that evening, the superintendent came down and said, "By the way, Mr. Wilson says you all can't go to lunch together anymore." So that ended all that.
Oh, that's funny.
Then he was making us work 5.5 days a week in the shipping department. Well, on Saturday, it was dead on Hank Williams. There wasn't much goes on,
Mm-hmm.
So JD and I decided that we came up with this thing that could call in sick. The next Saturday, I could call in. And that worked pretty good for a while.
For a few Saturdays.
Well, I called in one morning, and Mr. Wilson, he never was there on Saturday, but that day he was. And I said, "This Lawson," I said, "I can't come in today. I'm feeling bad." "You feeling bad, are you?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, you got a stomach ache?" I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "You got a headache?" I said, "I think it's the worst I ever had." He said, "Well, you got the same thing Red's got."
Oh no!
So from that we had to quit that too.
Man,
That's
it
so
sound like
funny.
you and JD Crow got in a lot of trouble, Doyle.
Well, yeah, we had a time.
Oh man, that's just so cool.
I miss him.
I do too, man.
Yeah.
I really do. He was like family to me too.
Oh yeah.
I knew him since I was about 10, I think, when I met him. And of course I was, I'm a recovering banjo player too. So I was, I wanted to be him. And when I got to meet him, he said, "I bet you know Steve Chandler." And I said, "Yeah, I do." And that he said, "Well, he's a good friend of mine." Of course, I think that was around the time that Flashback had just come out on their record, and
yeah.
But for the first probably 3 or 4 years of my son Weldon, first few years of his life, he had no idea that Crow wasn't his grandpa. And like really, and the funny thing is he knew two people from that age of who he wanted to listen to. It was Crow.
Yeah.
He either wanted to listen to Crow or Doyle. He knew those two names. So I raised him right.
Yeah, well, you were half right anyway.
Man,
I heard Bill Monroe say one time,
I wanted to use some kind of name so people would know where I was from, so I took the name Bluegrass. There's not a prettier name in the whole world.
the Hometown Bluegrass Show.
Well, welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show, folks. We had a great show today, lots of fun, and man, talking to a legend, Doyle Lawson.
man, yeah, absolutely. Just what a great guy, but also what a legend, man. I mean, well-deserved seat in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's for sure. So many stories, so much fun, and just the most amazing attitude as a human being. I mean, just down to earth and just such a super guy.
Well, don't think for 1 second he didn't see a lot of stuff, you know.
I guarantee it. Well, I bet he has.
He has, man. You can't be in the business this long and you know.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right.
Playing bluegrass for a living ain't no walk in the park.
You've been there, done that, ain't
Oh
you?
man, I'm telling you. But I ain't done it like him. You know, I mean, I'm even when I came along and started doing this, the times were different. You know, there were luxuries that they didn't have back then.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, listen to him talking about being at the bus station with just the clothes on his back and
Oh, I know. Enough money for a couple meals or something.
Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, that's crazy. Some of those stories were just unbelievable. So I wanted, there was so much I wanted to ask him. We would have been here all night, but I mean, I just wanted to ask him how the genre has changed over the years because he's just seen all aspects of it. I mean, just he's seen it all. So.
Yeah. There was a story with Jimmy Martin, too, that I wanted to talk to him about that we ran out of time. But there was, and he was already with the Country Gentlemen when this had happened. But somebody a friend of mine has a recording of this live show at a festival. And whoever was playing mandolin with Jimmy at the time didn't show up. So he said that we've borrowed Doyle Lawson from the Country Gentlemen's. And, and
Plural.
Yeah, plural. And he said, Doyle, do you remember how to kick off Ocean of Diamonds? And Doyle said, I sure do, son. And Jimmy Martin's response was, oh, okay. Oh, you my daddy now. Okay.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, man. So good, so good.
That is great. There's so many awesome stories.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I love this genre of music. I love the people.
Oh, I know.
Golly.
It's all about the people, man. It's just great music with great people.
It really is, man. It really is.
So awesome. So, well, I love doing this show with you, man. We
Likewise.
have a great time.
Yeah, this is fun. People don't realize how much fun it is either, but
We have some
we
fun,
have there's all kinds
have
of fun
some
we're
fun.
having when nobody else is
No
listening.
doubt. Well, thanks so
man.
much for joining the Hometown Bluegrass Show, brought to you by Allen Music Shop.
.com.
See
Goodbye.
y'all. This has been a Bats Creative Audio production.